Hello everyone, and Oberon channel is back online again. I make a quick tutorial today because one of my followers asked me if I could make a tutorial where I can show you how you can back up your data via FTP commands in Oberon on some backup server. So it's an easy way to exchange data between different Oberon machines, or even native Oberon machines and other machines running on Windows or Linux or maybe DOS that are implementing Oberon on the operating system. And it's really easy, and I'm going to show you how this works now. Okay, as I always do in such topics, I write myself a tool. You can see this tool here. I have different chapters, starting, stopping the net system. That's a very basic thing I already showed you in the last video, the network primer for Oberon. Then I have here some commands for open and close the FTP connection, and dealing with directories, showing the contents of directories, making new directories, changing your current directory, also removing directories, deleting files from directories, and then putting files on your specified directory or getting it back on your local machine. The most crucial thing is to get your FTP connection open, to get access to your FTP server. And Oberon has a special command for this. This is ftp.open. And the syntax is in a way that you first have to provide the type of access, that really this is an FTP access. So you have to type FTP : and then a /. Then you have to apply your password. Then again comes a colon, and then you have to apply your username you're using for your FTP account. Then comes the @sign, and after that the internet address of your server. So this is just an example here. I already have one command, FTP open, adjusted to my FTP access, but I don't show you this. This is here a little up in the document. You know, I love you all, but my love doesn't go so far that I want to show you my FTP login. So please take this as a template and enter your own login parameters here. Okay, first we're going to start the net system. I'm clicking on net system start, and after a while you can see net system is started, and now I go over to my secret hidden FTP open command, and I click on it, and you can see the server is ready. So here we go. The first thing we can do is let us show the contents of the directory by clicking on ftp.dil. And you can see we neatly have a list here with all those directories included. This is just a normal web space I have on my server, so I don't have a dedicated FTP server rented in the internet. It's just a normal web space provider where I have the place for my home pages. And when you do this, every web space provider provides you inherently, or let's say intrinsically, an FTP access, because you need some kind of tool to put all your HTML files on the server. So you have always FTP. And I did nothing more than this. I use my normal FTP account. But you can use this also as a backup server, and I'll show you now how this works. I have to enter in this directory htdocs because this is the root directory for my server. This other stuff here is just for the server itself. My content is always below htdocs. So first we have to go into the directory htdocs by clicking on ftp change dir, followed by the name htdocs. Now let's do this. And you see we successfully changed the directory. Now we can list its contents again. And you can see some stuff, also an index.html. And let's suppose we want to put our files we want to back up from Oberon into some directory here in this structure. So first we have to make a new subdirectory. Let's call it backup. So we use this command ftp.makedir_backup to make this new directory. And you can see it was created. And if we again list the directory contents, you see now we have this backup directory here at the top of the listing. Okay, so now we can enter this directory backup by doing change directory backup. Let's do this. Directory successfully changed, and now we again list the contents, and now of course it should be empty. So it's nothing in here. Yeah. Okay, let's clear this here because otherwise the logging output becomes too long for my camera view. Okay, now we are in the backup directory, and you always can ensure yourself that in which directory you are by typing or by activating ftp.curdir. That lists the current directory, and you can see htdocs backup. The camera is not high enough. Okay, that's better. Is the current directory, and now we can start to transfer files to it. And you can see this here. I have under the section put files, I have a configuration do commands script. You know from my previous tutorials that this is always a way to put a lot of Oberon commands into one consecutive, let's say, string that is worked on. So all those commands here are serialized and one after the other is executed until the Oberon system finds a single wave sign and terminates the script. So if I now click on configuration new commands, all those data which is listed here is transferred to the backup directory. So let's do this. And you see it's putting the files in. And now we do again a directory content listing, and now you can see they're all there. Okay, now the backup process is over. We could terminate it, but we also could get files back from the backup server to our local machine. Let's do this by this command here, ftp get files. We can back the index.html, and let's give it another name. We don't name it index text, we name it index temp. So it doesn't overwrite my existing files. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. So let's click on get files. Oh, sorry, this one here. And you see transfer complete. So index temp should now be in our system. Now we can do FTP close, and the connection is closed. Now let's open Documents panel, and let's look for temp files, and you can see index temp is here. Okay, because Oberon doesn't know the extension temp, it doesn't know what to do with it, so we can close this. Okay. And now we want to try to get access to those contents from a different machine. Okay, now you can see I am on a different machine. I fired up my Linux Ubuntu system, and I also started FileZilla, which is a common tool for doing file transfer with FTP servers. So I already have this server here in my server manager named Oberon. Now you see we get a connection. Oh no, sorry, that was wrong. The Oberon server is something different. Sorry for this, we have to use this one, Corneo. This is it's just an example server. So you can see the same structure here I showed you on the Oberon machine. We have the directory htdocs. We go into this directory, we find the directory backup, and here you can see tools, index, world time tools, so on. And you can see I already downloaded these files here. I have a special directory on my local machine named backup. These are the same tools. So you can see you also have access from everywhere on a system that does provide an FTP client tool to your Oberon files. And of course you also can exchange files by this way with other Oberon machines, and that is a suitable way to build a file server. And I'm going to tell you more about this now in the last part of my video. So you remember what I said a few seconds ago, that it is possible with our backup server tool to build up a file server for Oberon, a file repository where you can share your data with anyone else who also owns an Oberon machine. And this is also reality. So I present you, ta-da, the native Oberon tutorial page. This is a web page which is heavily under construction, so it's far away from radio perfect, and it's written with simple Oberon web design tools. In one of my following videos I will explain you how to do this. It's a very simple approach for making a website. You see we have text and we have pictures. There is not much of format style, and you don't have all those features you are used to from HTML5. You don't have large menus, floating menus and headlines and blinking and brimming gadgets and automatically starting videos and running GIFs and stuff like that. It's concentrated on what you need. It's concentrated on the content, not on the format. So you can read it as a book. You can see it as a book that is available on the internet. And here at the bottom line I have a link to the Oberon file repository. When you click here, you come to the Oberon native Oberon file server page. This is a repository which is also under construction. It currently has only one category here named Tools. When you click here on Tools, you can see 3 different tools for downloads. One is my USB stick tool I referred to in one of my previous videos. This here is a world clock panel. It's a small experimental gadget to tinker around a little bit with the clock gadgets you have in Oberon. And here, the third one you can see is the backup server tool I showed you in this video. You have 2 different ways to download the stuff. The normal way, when you're using a normal browser on an operating system like Linux or Windows, you would click here on World Time Tool. When I do this here, you see I get a bunch of nasty stuff, which is the content of the file I wanted to download, but Oberon tries to display it as an HTML file. Current browsers like Firefox or Internet Explorer are distinguishing in some kind of back-end decision if the link refers to an HTML file which they can display in their windows, or if the content is non-HTML. So normally they should suggest the user to download this. In Oberon it's different. Oberon is very clean in this structure because it's specified in a way that an HTML reference is always a reference to an HTML file. This is what it was originally meant when HTML was designed. Oberon has a special command to catch file content that is meant for downloading and not for displaying as an HTML file. And this is in the module HyperDoc tools. The command is fetch. So this is the reason when you want to download these tools here from your Oberon browser, then you don't have to click here on World Time tool. This is just for the normal browsers on other operating systems. You have to click on this tool, on this line here, on HyperDoc tools fetch. And when you do so, you can see that the content was downloaded. And what you see here is very interesting, because what you did actually by clicking here is not executing an HTML command. This is not HTML in any way. Clicking here is HTML. Clicking here is a pure Oberon command. This is what I told you in my last video. Oberon is able to execute commands wherever they are on your desktop. And that means literally wherever commands are on your desktop, you can activate them. And of course you also can activate Oberon commands which are embedded in an HTML file. So this is just a small example what you can do with Oberon on an internet site. You can embed interactive tutorials, and that's really something great we will take advantage for in the next videos. The website, how you can see it from a normal browser. In this case it's Firefox on my Linux system, and you see it's very simple and plain. You can read it just like a book, and I think the format is humble, but it's very understandable, so you can focus on what's really important. So let's click on the Oberon file repository link, go to tools, and here you can see the download sections, and now I will download it in my Firefox browser. Let's say I will download the World Time tool. I click right and I say save file under, and now let's choose download directory and save. And now we go over to the download directory, and there is World Time tool. So you can see this also works pretty nice in a normal browser when you just want to download these tools and you have some kind of Oberon, not native Oberon, but Oberon running as an application on your operating system. You should be able to transfer those files via shared directory or something like this on the Oberon system. So that's all for now. Thank you folks for watching. I hope you learned a lot and had a lot of fun, and see you back again on the Oberon channel. Bye.